people who are really doing great in the field of, as they say, STEM. Wonderful innovators who are doing wonderful things. And every week we bring you new people. Today on Science World, we are continuing the interview series on the UNILAG technology transfer journey, where we look at the past, present, and future. I have with me in the studio Professor Hakeem Amuda. He's a professor with over 20 years of experience spanning industry, academia, research, and nationwide outreach. He served as the pioneer Deputy Director of Innovation at UNILAG, where he championed technology transfer initiatives and became the first academic to file an intellectual property patent for the university community, helping to lay the foundation for the institution's growing innovation ecosystem. During the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic, he led a multidisciplinary team of researchers at the University of Lagos to develop a patented, affordable, rapidly deployable ambu bag ventilator, a major contribution to Nigeria's emergency healthcare response. He is a committed academic mentor. He has supervised nearly 85 undergraduate projects, 22 master's dissertations, and 2 completed PhD theses, with another 3 PhD candidates currently under his supervision. Well, in addition to this academic excellence, he is a registered current engineer and an active member of several professional bodies in Nigeria and abroad. Please welcome to the studio Professor Hakeem Amuda. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. It's my pleasure to be here.
My absolute pleasure to also have you here. Anytime I read profiles like yours, I keep saying I'm coming. I'm really convinced I'm coming back to academia.
But academia is really, really very interesting.
I agree with you.
It's very interesting because one thing about academia is that you never stop.
Mm-hmm.
The passion for curiosity,
yes,
inquisitiveness will always push you to remain active. And you do it at your own pace.
Mm-hmm.
That is one beauty about the academia. It is at your own pace. You have the very fast, swift, and you also have those that do it steadily.
Yes.
But you move at your own pace. The overarching objective or philosophy here is that truth, pursuit of truth, pursuit of knowledge. Once you are doing that, you will find academia very interesting. And people say they are not rich, they are not wealthy. When you do the work,
yes,
your work will bring the
I absolutely agree. I mean, this is how many years after I ran away from there, I still find myself saying, okay, look, beyond the money, there has to be something that the knowledge does. And what people don't realize is that we seem to think the moment we do our convocations, it ends. But I find that in the workspace, there are things that you would actually benefit from approaching the way you would approach academia. Like, I really have some work subjects I just look at and I say, no, I want to do a theoretical review of this. And it helps me understand it better, So it's so good to have you here, Professor. Hi, Daniel. Daniel, say hello.
Hello.
Can we hear you? Okay, we can hear you, Daniel. Daniel was here, I think, 3 weeks ago. And it's so good to have you back here in the studio. So I'm going to come back to you. Daniel is a final year, right?
Not yet. It's 5-year course.
Oh, it's a 5-year course. Yeah. Okay, so Daniel is a 400 level mechanical engineering student. I remember here at the University of Lagos. Welcome again, Daniel. Okay, so let's go right into it. So, Prof, you're the pioneer Deputy Director of Innovation here at UNILAG, and you're also the first to file an IP for the university. We would like you to take us back to how the innovation ecosystem here at UNILAG started. What were those key moments?
Thank you very much. I think if I can go historical, University of Lagos, sometime around, I think 2004 or 5, during the Vice Chancellorship of late Professor Hakeem took a decision to become research-intensive university. The ecosystem of higher education in Nigeria, particularly at the university level, over time, over decades, appears to have concentrated more on teaching. Whereas our ecosystem really has three components: teaching, research, and what? Community service. So if you look at that arrangement, research is where? Is at the center. So what he's saying is that is a dual carriage, more or less like a dual carriage relationship. Research feed into your teaching. You become a better teacher when you teach. Research feed into your community. How do you serve the community? You develop products.
Yeah.
People take up the product because you are solving the community challenges. So the university at that time realizes that, look, what we have been doing has just been teaching, and we are not making that impact in the society, as it were. So late Professor Bidakobe took the initiative to make the university to become a research institute, and that was the genesis of the annual research fair that university organizes every year. Cascaded to around 2012, between 2003, 2004 to 2012, after the demise of late Professor Shofoluwe,
yes,
as the 12th Vice Chancellor or thereabouts. Then Professor Rahman Bello took over. So for him, is that UNILAG cannot continue to be like a conventional university. And yes, we are doing a bit well in research, but this research that we're doing should do what? Should cascade
right into the community.
Into the community. And they realize one thing, that there is no institutional unit in the university that can drive that vision. And that was what led to this setting up of research and innovation office. We call it R&I office. So when R&I office was set up, it has a director and was supposed to have 2 deputy directors, one for research, one for innovation. The essence of that is that for research, you will concentrate on grantmanship, winning grants. So when you do your research, as a researcher, I should not bother about how my research, the outcome of my research, will get to the market. There should be a unit of the university that will do that. So that was what the innovation unit was supposed to do. So, but your products, the product of your research cannot get to the market and survive in the market if it is not protected. Okay? What protection does is that it gives you ownership. It gives you the premise to be able to say, this is for me. And when you have ownership of anything, before you can use what I have ownership, you need to take my permission.
Yes, absolutely.
Do you get that? So that is the fulcrum or the foundation for whatever we. So for us is to assist the end product of research to get to be taken up by the community. And by this community, it is a generic term, the community in quote as it were. You have the entrepreneurs, we have the established corporations, we will have, even as a researcher on my own, I can set up what we call a startup or a spin-off. That is from that my research, rather than giving license or approval to third party to use my product or the outcome of my research. I can on my own go solo, decide to set up a company, but I cannot do that if there is no protection. Because if there is no protection, somebody can come from anywhere and erode that and take it away. I cannot sue. I don't have that because there is no instrument that is giving that originality to me. So that was what the innovation unit was meant to do, to serve as a bridge between outcome of research and what? And the uptake of what? Of research that will lead to prosperity in the society, to individual researcher, to the society, to end user, and then prosperity of the nation and people also improves.
Okay, so that has been very, very, it's been a very interesting and informative. So summarily, we see that we first of all had to find a need, create an establishment or a vehicle for that need, to get to us. And then we also had to look at the protection of whatever came out of that research. So Prof, what timeline would you say we're looking at from everything you said till now? How many years would that have been?
For the vision to become research intensive university, that's about 20
years now.
The setting up of research and innovation unit is about 13 years. The activation of the innovation unit of the R&I office was about 8 years. April 18, 2017. And I became the first head of the unit. In fact, I had multiple roles. I was deputy director innovation. I was the head intellectual property and technology transfer office. IPTTO. I also serve as the regional contacts for the patents and patent office of the Federal Ministry of Trade at that time. So I was, for 4 years, I ran a one-man show. I was the head, I was the secretary, I was the admin officer.
I mean, that's expectable where things are just at the innovative years, the beginning stage.
And
look at us
to be frank, incidentally, I never had any prior experience. I did my PhD in Malaysia. And in Malaysia, I can tell you for free, they are not better than us. In fact, every year in my school, when they do best thesis award that we do here, it is always won by Nigeria. At least before I left, I wouldn't know what's happened. So, and Malaysia is not a developing country. So the passion I took to that office was that if it is possible in Malaysia, we can also do it in Nigeria. So, and it's what is that I had an experience somewhere. So it was a very good exposure that you must not fail. And so that was just the spirit.
Okay, so I'm going to come to you, Daniel. I mean, you've heard that we're looking at an over 15 to 20 years timeline, and you have been in UNILAG for 4 years. How does everything, all the history Prof has given us, how does it connect to your work today as the technology transfer ambassador here at UNILAG?
Yeah, so for the past 2 years, my first 2 years, of course, I was just one of the usual students that you just come to school from class, hostel to whatever you want to do, and not even really bothered about any other thing going on in school. There are so many people with that kind of experience as well. But my exposure to even coming into anything technology was from a competition at the business, the BITES, they call it BITES, that Professor Sunday at ABC. So I participated, got to the semi-finals, but I remember one thing that struck with me, the judges, that I couldn't get to the final because the judges said I didn't have competitive advantage for the products I was pitching to them. So that's, at first I was angry, what does it mean? This, that. But I realized that I needed to understand more, and that's how my journey in the technology space began. That curiosity, and then I went for another competition. My team came third in University of Lagos. So it's a journey that just started, let's say 2024. So not 4 years exactly, but 2 years ago. And how what Prof has said is relating to my work as a technology transfer ambassador. I remember that Prof said he was doing a solo man work then. And and that was because of the passion he has explained that he had. But right now the office is creating a decentralized form so that everyone, they are able to reach a wider audience, they are able to reach the wider community better through the help of the technology ambassador. So all the things I was doing, the guidance probably to researchers that want to file their intellectual property, the scouting for innovators, everything that he was doing solo then. And the office also thought of this technology transfer ambassador program would help them to reach more students, more researchers, more people in the society. So my work is, we are resting currently now on the soldier and on the shoulder rather of what he started then, and that's what we are doing, going around to, we are closer to the students, closer to the lecturers, closer to everyone in the community. So that's where the technology transfer ambassadors come into play.
Okay, thank you so much. And I think you're actually enjoying the work that you're doing.
Yeah,
you speak so passionately about it.
Yeah, aside the fact that I'm beginning to understand that there's a inborn passion that I had even before taking this role, which is I've been looking at a way to drive a mindset shift among the young people in Nigeria. It's a passion that, because of some experiences I've had in the past. So when I hear technology, I'm always passionate about it because I see it as a driver of change in communities. Look at China. Technology is what drives change in a country. So taking up this role is just like, I'm seeing it as an opportunity to do what I'm passionate about. Okay,
thank you, Daniel. Yeah. I'm going to come back to you, Prof. So over the last 20 years that this has been going on, I would say that, I'm sure there have been moments you have paused and looked back to say, oh, this work we've been doing, what is the impact, or how is the community receiving it? So after that, what would you say from your observation or from the feedback, what would you say would be your top 3 critical areas that you can focus on for the growth of we, the community?
Now, thank you for the point. Before I come to that, there was something probably you didn't mention. In the university innovation ecosystem, we call it end-to-end. Okay? So that model is this: research and innovation office, which has now been split into research management office, innovation and technology management office. Then from that, you have the entrepreneurship office and skill development center. Then you have the innovation ops across the university. So the model is this: researchers can go to research management office, get grants, or researchers, these researchers in quote now, is member of the university. You can also be a researcher.
Okay.
You don't need to be just a lecturer.
I don't have to be a lecturer.
A student can also be a researcher.
Okay.
Now, there is a difference between research and innovation. Research may lead to innovation. Innovation may not lead to research. Because innovation is spontaneous, it is experiential. It doesn't need to go through the protocol of research that you do experiments. Let me just give an example. You have a device, and because you have been using this device, your experiential contact tells you that we can do something better than this, and you try it and it works. So it becomes a proof of concept. So the process of making it better may now involve you going back to into research. But every research that leads to products in the market is an innovation. Whereas it may not be the other way. So we realize that and say it is not everybody that is a researcher, but almost everybody can be an innovator.
Yes.
You are getting that? So I'm an innovator. As he said, they said you really have competitive edge. What we felt is that the channel, the pathway, the talent pipeline is not well structured such that you will know as an innovator, this is your business model canvas.
Yeah.
This is where your competitive advantage is. So that is where entrepreneurship center was to come in,
yes,
to give you that business horizon, that business insight. So while you are identifying the need, you are also seeing the business around it, because an innovator is not somebody that is just playing around.
Yes.
It's a passion. You have committed, even the time you committed to it is a resource that need to be paid for. So the only way you can pay for that resource is to make sure that it becomes commercially viable. That was what. So for our key moment, for me, when I look back, is for the first time, the university community is now realizing that teaching is just about knowledge impartation. What goes to the market is knowledge application. Okay? You generate knowledge through research. You impact it through teaching. Then you apply it when the society is taking. So the university community is now well sensitized, because, after almost 50, 60 years of establishment of University of Lagos, we didn't get our first set of patents until 2021. Wow. So, and those people that were getting, in fact, we have student communities that were filing patents. There is this product they call chemistry board game. It was a student in science education, that developed that, and Lagos State government showed interest in it. We also, that feat also generated a business. We call it advanced technology, and they are into NIN. They were the first set of indigenous people, indigenous company that the federal government allowed to participate in when they decentralized NIN. So the first critical moment for me is when the university community, for the first time, had that feat. The second critical moment for me, which I consider as my best achievement in that office, is the university professionalizing innovation and technology management. Part of technology management is technology transfer, because they bundle the two together. They now realize that that is a very large space, that by bundling it with research office, that you will limit the capacity and what it can do. So, and that is how you people were able to come in. We are saying that for the faculty, we should have faculty contact officer. We call them FCO. And for the students, we call them tech ambassador. So maybe it was when I then they changed it to tech transfer. What we want to do by then is that you, as you said, you are closer to the student community, to the staff. At least one of them will be your lecturer, so you can have that relationship, and you can now approach them and pitch, sensitize them about what is happening in that space. The other bit that we also try to do around that is doing what we call innovation challenge. So with this innovation challenge, what we said is that we will not decide what the innovation challenge for this year will be, for instance. We throw it to our community along the SDGs. So by the time we have vet the survey, we rank them. So based on the ranking, we now know the theme for a particular innovation challenge, and you see ours, and that's what apply in its own case. So the ITMO office now has been organizing series of innovation, and this ITMO, this innovation that is coming up, has led to the establishment and citing of other innovation hubs. We have Rise 360 Design Studio, we have NIT Hub, we have Fab Lab, Fabrication Laboratory. I also established that one. It was a donation from the French Embassy. So this That is my second greatest achievement, which is, or what I can call critical moment. One, expanding the innovation space and bringing in more infrastructure that will sustain the journey. The third aspect of it is that we have been fortunate with succession. University funding cannot sustain innovation. So in the last, there is a flagship project for ITMO. We call it Project I2L. That project brought in almost £700,000. And through that, the PI, Dr. Benga Ilori, we were able to incubate as many businesses as possible. Through what? Through that seed of innovation units. That was funded by UK RI through
AID.
Yes, through their flagship organization through which they do that intervention. So today, what you see, the no UNILAG for innovation was actually, apart from the little things that I did, was the consolidation offered by projects I2N, which was UNILAG could not have provided even 10,000 because it's not budgeted.
Yeah.
It's not, where will that budget come? But this came around 7. In fact, today we have a consortium of universities in the innovation space that project also established. So in terms of mapping of the achievement, one is the filing of the first set of patents for the university, and that changed the dynamics of understanding around innovation. The second critical achievement is expanding the innovation space with additional infrastructure, with contact person, or which those that we can call foot soldiers like you, so that it makes it more sustainable. So you have a recruitment pathway or pipeline that you can sustain that. And the third critical is that we've now been able to attract external funding based on the reputation or the history of that office, as it were. And I think we have not even started with what I've seen so far. If we can always get the leadership right. The current director of ITMO, Dr. Adewumi, she had held about 2 or 3 innovation challenges.
Yes.
We have energy, and then we have health. Right?
And then she did one for ladies.
Exactly. So you can see that things are. So thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Prof. You've spoken quite a lot, and Daniel, I'm sure you were paying attention. And Prof said Prof said so many things. We've listened to the understanding that we have to move from teaching, which is the knowledge impartation, to knowledge application. We heard him speak about professionalizing the innovation management, establishment of hubs, succession planning, recruitment of ambassadors like yourself, and also external funding. I'm going to have to box you into one place. Yes, and the boxing is this. The boxing is this. As a student, with everything Prof had listed, if you were asked to pick one as the most important to you, which would you pick?
Oh boy.
That's really tough.
Yes.
So the first instinct of anyone would be to go for the funding. but being maybe with my little understanding right now, I would go for the knowledge.
Okay.
Because the very first thing that happened before the funding could come was the knowledge impartation and the knowledge acquisition. So when you have it will not be a norm in the society because everyone believes that the money. But if you have the money and you don't know the way to use
that money,
if you want to create a solution, you want to impact the society. If you don't have the right set of knowledge to do that, the right pathway to that you can follow to be able to have that funding, you won't even be able to apply for funding. They could have applied to get funding from the UKAs and all these people because they had a structure, they've had something established, they could show proof that they have this knowledge, they won't waste the money. So any investor, anyone that will be supporting you with funding or money would not support just anyhow idea that will crash within 1 year or 2 years. They look at sustainable. So one thing I keep saying, that competitive advantage always rings in my head in anything I want to do. So it's you have to have, because I didn't have that knowledge, so I couldn't proceed even though I was at the semi-finals. It was looking promising to win, but I didn't just have that. So knowledge impartation, I would choose that. Every other thing will come along with it.
I'm actually very, very, very impressed by your response, and I agree with it totally. Yes. She came out of the box well.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to go on a quick break, and then we're going to come back. Let me just allow my guests to catch their breath, take a water break if they want. Welcome back from the break. This is still UNILAG 103.1 FM. It's Science World. And today we have been continuing the interview series on UNILAG's technology transfer journey, past, present, and future. I have in the studio with me Professor Hakeem Amuda, and I also have Daniel, who is the UNILAG Technology Transfer Ambassador. We have been walking through the journey. We have been asking so many important questions and getting so many interesting responses. So I'm coming back. Just before we went on the break, I said I was going to put Daniel in a box, and his response was quite brilliant to that. So now I'm going to come back to Prof. Prof, earlier when we began, you said that you had been to Malaysia and you strongly believe that Nigeria can compete at that global scale. So now, looking at all the technology transfer hubs that we have and all the emerging ones, where would you say the UNILAG one stands? How would you say we stand in comparison to all the others?
Thank you. For me, I will say, looking at the global tech system in relation to where we are, we can just say our or innovation culture is work in progress. Two things are missing. There is no, UNILAG is UNILAG. It's just a microcosm of the wider, the bigger Nigerian space. What is the national strategy for innovation? I'm afraid if we have it, it is not clear.
Okay.
So it is very difficult. So what UNILAG is doing is because we are fortunate to have been blessed with visionary leadership. But how far can we go depends on the national strategy. What do I mean by this national strategy? What is our area of strength in innovation? Is it digital innovation? Is it manufacturing innovation? Is it infrastructure innovation? So if we have this ecosystem with our national strategy, some of these companies can now adopt UNILAG as a partner, because two things sustain innovation: continuous uptake and continuous feedback. Okay? So that is the first thing, uptake and feedback. The second thing is the infrastructure and resource. to sustain it. Even if you are uptaking and you are giving me feedback, the kind of problem you are giving, if I don't have the infrastructure to go into it and resolve it, it will not go anywhere. The kind of problem or needs you are bringing, if we don't have the human resource expertise to go into it fully, we cannot do it. So for us in UNILAG, the infrastructure is growing. The human resource is also growing, but where does it end? Unlike the global tech space, there is always a discharge point, there is a connection, there is a bridge between the national. You pick the US innovation ecosystem, for instance. If it is digital ecosystem, there's nothing you will do that you'll not be talking about Silicon Valley and all these and what have you. If it is UK, you have it. Which one? What is our own? For me, UNILAG is up there trying to push the envelope, the boundary. But as we are pushing the boundary to open up with space, who is taking it up? Okay? So for me, what we need to do is we just need to, if the national strategy is not there, can some of our efforts transit to start up and spin off?
Okay.
These are new companies that are, and people are doing it, particularly in the fintech.
Yeah.
People are doing it, and they are making fantastic stride, as it were. So that's just my take in relation to the global tech. UNILAG innovation ecosystem is work in progress.
Okay. And the work in progress at least means that we're still moving. It's not like it's
not
stopped.
stagnant.
Yes, it's not stagnant. So I really like the idea of saying that we should, move. We should be able to move directly from school to industry. As you mentioned, some people are doing with the fintech. So if you look, say, the next 5 years, what extra bold steps, apart from this one you just mentioned, what other extra bold steps do you think that we can take for the future of technology transfer at UNILAG?
Thank you. 2 things. I think in June or July, UNILAG is coming back to campus now. They call it UNILAG in town.
Okay.
So where they took Moremi Aja Shoro to the island.
Yes.
So that is, they took UNILAG from Akoka. To the community that don't come to Akoka, come and so if we adopt that with innovation strategy, we cannot be here and be talking to ourselves and say we are doing innovation. Let us go out
and showcase it.
What we are doing.
Very, very. I have to go back here.
Prof is not there.
Okay, so Daniel, now, listening to what Prof has just said, how would you, as ambassador, and your co-ambassadors, how would you fuel this vision?
Yeah, so it's for me to go back first to plan.
Okay.
This can not obviously be done by one ambassador. So I've noted that point down, and it's something I believe I will just take first to the director of the Innovation and Technology Management Office. So this can be planned because, truthfully speaking, we have a couple of, not just a few of startups, some digital startups, some things that some student researchers are doing within the community ecosystem that are not necessarily known to the. So we can come up with some sort of strategy, like the way you said about the Moremi program. Maybe have like a tech fair, something.
Yes, back in the community.
Into the community, okay. That students within the community will showcase their products to the society.
And I think that's such a brilliant move because sometimes we underestimate how much these things can have an impact. There are things I saw as a child and I just said, it's always there at the back of my head. I want to do it. Because when we look and we say, oh, bad examples, children are this, society is this. But sometimes being able to bring these examples into places that they ordinarily would not have seen them, it's such an impactful thing to do. We're going to round up shortly, and I'm going to ask Prof my final question. So I would say, Prof, with your ambassadors, how do you think that they can effectively support the UNILAG innovation and tech transfer? Because I see there is a lot of synergy between the academia and the students themselves. So how do you think we can further entrench that to make sure that the work that we're doing, remains sustainable?
One, there is something we are missing, and that is incentivizing passion.
Okay.
Incentivizing commitments, incentivizing efforts. My philosophy of life is that if there is consequence for bad behavior, if there is consequence for not doing what you're supposed to do, there should also be reward for doing the right thing. So, Daniel,
Sir.
I want to ask you this question. What has been the incentive or reward that you have received as an ambassador, which will now make other students to be part of that trade? Is very, very important. The simplest of all the incentives is create a program that will give credit value to have ambassadorship role. For instance, as there is ENT, they call it entrepreneurship, ENT 211 now. Is a course which the NUC created or established to train students in entrepreneurship. So when you look at the component of that course, can you give a credit level, maybe for being a tech transfer or being entrepreneur, fivepreneur, or whatever it is, maybe 10 marks for the activities. So because there is a reward, you want to get that 10 marks or 20 marks. So the first thing is to incentivize, apart from selling or sensitizing the community, the students community as to what is available as a tech transfer ambassador. Also incentivize them, show them the opportunities that as a tech ambassador, also provide them opportunities to grow as tech ambassador. The trainings build their capacity. As a tech transfer ambassador, what are your responsibilities? What do you need to be able to perform that role or duty as a tech ambassador? And what tools or resources as the ITMO or the university provided? It doesn't need to be physical. It could be digital. It could be made available online, that if you want to be a tech ambassador, go through this module for 2 weeks, answer these questions, and then the successful one will be.
Well, if that's it, that was done for us after we first had a 3 months program. I don't know if that is in line with what you're saying. A 3 days program, rather, okay. Technology transfer program. Then those that participated moved to a further stage. We did the iBank module for 1 month. It's a series. I'm sure you
think that's okay.
So those that participated, and were able to answer all the questions, they were the ones that successfully became the technology transfer ambassadors.
So I think that's great.
Well, you could tell from the little knowledge I have, right?
Where does alumni? Where do the
alumni come into?
Where do we fit into all of this? You're really left out.
No, you are not left out.
Okay.
You are not really left out. Thank you for raising that. In fact, the part of the model I remember very well was to work with the advancement office.
Okay.
So the advancement office is going to support from two angles. The first angle is to use that network to bring in alumni to grow the ecosystem. And part of it also is to also bring in alumni to give them opportunity to be part of some of this training. That because I always tell people there's something they call tracer study of graduates. So how did I know this? I was once HOD, and when NUC is coming for accreditation, they will want to know where your graduates are working.
Okay.
Yes, that so that they will know whether your program is doing well, is sustainable, your product are getting jobs. If they are not getting jobs, they will know that your programs are not. So what do we normally do, man? This is what we do. All those ones that are sending us references, we now say, please. No, I said no. That we should be able to do a tracer study. So if we do it, although we are very bad or poor at responding to service in Nigeria, but no matter, you know, I'm in that space. So when you do tracer study, you will see your product that are doing well, and you see your product that are also into this entrepreneurship that need to be showcased. So it is from the alumni platform that you can actually showcase them.
Okay, I think I'm going to have to continue this conversation off air because yes, I'm very interested in it. But we have come to the end. I always say that 1 hour flies back so quickly, and you do not believe it. So this has been the UNILAG Technology Transfer Journey, past, present, future. I'm going to call out a link so that you can give feedback, and the link is bit.ly/TT interview and the number 3. So bit.ly/T you spell interview and you put the number 3, and they would like to actually hear feedback from our listeners. This is where we draw the curtain on Science World program. I would like to say thank you to Professor Hakeem Amuda. Thank you also to Daniel. Thank you to my amiable producer, Abiodun Fatai. And so from me, Achalugo, to you all, it's have a wonderful day. Up next is the midday news.